Hi everyone, I'm back again. Just wanted to post a quick review of the Motorola Moto X, which has been out for a while in the United States. It was recently released in the UK. Just wanted to see how it held up in terms of its specifications, which not the most advanced. I don't think it even rocks a quad-core processor, but I think the main emphasis of it was to get the job done and provide a good experience that anyone coming from iOS or Windows Phone would be able to appreciate without any of the frills. I also wanted to have a look at some of the touchless controls and other additions that Motorola had added to make the phone stand out a little bit. So when you look at the device, you've got quite a nice form factor of 4.7 inches, which is very comfortable in the hand. In fact, it's probably one of the most comfortable phones I've ever held. It just, the curve on the back just makes it feel very natural. Although the problem with the curve is that when you're using it on the table, it does tend to spin around a lot, which is, I guess, a double-edged sword. But I think in the hand, it's unrivaled. It even feels more comfortable than like the HTC One and things like that. But I like the Motorola symbol that they've put on the back, which is very minimalistic and a little bit more premium looking than the Moto G. I also like the fact that the plastic buttons on the back feel a bit more premium than the ones on the Moto G. They're still a bit plasticky, but they do feel a bit more sturdy, like they're built to last. When I first got the Moto G, I thought that those buttons would be the first to break. But you've got a USB charging port at the bottom, so nice standard place, no weird places like HTC One. The headphone jack again at the top, nice standard place. Can't remove the back, so no access to battery or removable storage, which is a shame. But I think in general, most people are not going to be too fussed by that, unless you're a power user. In any case, you wouldn't be buying this if you're a power user. But when you do turn on the device, you're greeted with a nice 4.7 inch AMOLED display, which has a pixel density of about 300 ppi. It's a 720p display, so not a full HD display. And it does, when you've been used to 1080p displays, you do notice it at first. It does look a little bit less quality, but in general, once you do get using it, you do quickly forget about that, and you realise how this less resolution screen may help, in fact, in terms of battery life. But the screen is pleasant and has good viewing angles, as you can see. There's very little degrading of the colours as you look at it from the sides. The daylight visibility for the display is a bit weak because of the AMOLED technology, which isn't as strong as LCD outside. However, you will be able to make out stuff in direct sunlight, so unlike the Xperia E1, for example, which struggles a lot. But I think that the contrast ratios and the deep blacks of the display are very pleasing and make it hard to see where the edge of the device is to the screen. Yeah, I do like the screen overall. I think it's good, and probably about the same as the Nokia Lumia 925 in terms of quality. In regards to specifications, you're looking at dual core Snapdragon S4 Pro, and that's clocked at 1.7 gigahertz. It also has two other processors which are to do with the voice recognition and cognition processors. So the specs aren't obviously the most high end, like it's not a Snapdragon 800 or 801 Pro, and you certainly do notice it when doing things that are quite taxing on the device. But I think, as I've said before in other videos, we're long gone in regards to what's needed to run KitKat. So in general, you'll find the performance to be fantastic, and it's only helped with the fact that you have a very stock build of Android on here, which doesn't have much bloatware at all, other than some Motorola apps. So in comparison to the S4, for example, I think that it feels faster, even though the processor is not as powerful. I think Motorola have done a great job optimizing the actual software, and have taken like iPhone type of philosophy with it. The processor is called the Moto X2 processor, because as I said, it does have those other two processors in, which are used to give the Motorola the ability to recognize your voice very well, even when the phone's completely deactivated. I'll give a demonstration of that in a bit. It does have 2 gigs of RAM as well, so multitasking is very fluid. You can do things without any stuttering or anything. It does have 16 gigs internal storage, which to some people may be a bit low, but for me it's perfectly fine. They do give you 50 gigs Google Drive storage as well for cloud backup. So yeah, I think in terms of specifications, the philosophy is just to get the job done. Tech geeks may not salivate over these types of specs, but as I said, I think really it doesn't really need the quad core for what it's doing. It's just pushing a 720p screen and a smaller screen. It does certainly help with the battery life, I think, having a dual core with a less resolution screen. In regards to the camera, you're looking at a 10 megapixel camera which supports something called Clear Pixel, and it claims to help increase the low light of the camera performance. I think the sensor is made by a company other than Sony. It's quite unknown company who makes the camera. But in general, I found the camera to be a bit disappointing. I think it's perfectly good for doing, your Facebook, your Twitter, etc. But I think the lack of options, coupled with inconsistent image quality, makes it a bit hit or miss. I do think that it does have potential to improve in the future through some software updates, and I have been able to get better quality pictures by using a third-party camera such as a better camera. But right now I think it certainly needs some help with some pictures. I don't know if it's going to do it while I'm doing this review, but now and again, if you're doing a picture up close, it will completely overexpose the photo. But sod's law, it won't do it while I'm on camera. But I was doing it the other day, and it did this quite a lot, and it was quite annoying. Also, when you take pictures, sometimes it looks like there's a kind of like a dark filter over the lens, which I've checked is clean. It just makes the picture look a bit muddy in the corners. So hopefully, you know, these will be ironed out with a software update. It does have a higher resolution amount than the Nexus 5, for example, but right now the Nexus 5 takes better pictures, in my opinion. Another thing that I'm not really keen on is the fact that they don't have many options in the stock camera. I think that while it's good that they're trying to limit, you know, the options creep that Samsung often put into their phone and things like that, I think that there still should be a settings button somewhere for people who do want to fine-tune their camera, give them the choice to do that, instead of just completely remove it and, you know, cripple the capabilities. Now, I don't want to be using a third-party camera really. I want to just use the camera that the phone comes with. So definite improvement needed there in regards to the camera. For battery life, you're looking at a 2200 mAh battery, and not had any issues with the battery life on the device. Can easily go through a day to a day and a half. Obviously, if you're using it more heavily, you may just get a day out of it. But I think the 720p screen, along with the dual-core processor, really lends to an excellent battery life. I was thinking that the voice recognition software may actually affect the battery life bad, as well as the active notifications, but I think Motorola have taken a lot of time to make sure that they fit as much power into the battery pack, which is a curved design like the phone. So you're not going to really have any issues with battery life on the device. I think it's much better than the Nexus 5. Not tried it on ART yet though, but I might try that just to see if it makes a better battery life. So in regards to the software then, the software on the device is basically like a very toned down Android KitKat experience with a few Motorola additions. You're not going to find heavy skin on this device like TouchWiz or anything like that, and that's what part of the appeal that draws a lot of people to this sort of device. It's like a Nexus experience with some value-added stuff from Motorola, and some of the stuff are very useful. For example, the active display, which gives you notifications and stuff on the lock screen, on the screen when it's off, and it uses the low power AMOLED in order to do that, so you're not going to have your battery completely drained. Reminds me a bit of the Nokia Lumia 925 and its recent Nokia updates. It does the same kind of thing as that. When you pick up the device, it does seem to kick into motion, and then you'll get like mail icons and things like that come onto the screen, so you can quickly glance at them. That saves you having to put your phone on and waste battery life. But I think the more interesting feature is definitely the touchless control. Touchless control allows you to basically say a keyword when the phone's off, and basically you can then do stuff with Google Now, such as set calendar appointments, call people, or see what the weather is, and a whole load of other stuff. And because of the contextual processors that Motorola have built into the device, it means that it's very good at what it does. You can literally stand at the other end of a room and just say, "Okay, Google Now," and it will recognize it, and then you can say what you want. And I found that it works very well a lot of the time. I found that the only real issue at the moment is that if you have a lock screen pattern, you have to go through the lock screen pattern. But I'm thinking that a software update will sort that out, maybe, giving you some sort of phrase to say to get through that. But in general, it's definitely very good, like for when you're driving or something, you can't be bothered to get your phone out and you just want to say, "Okay Google, now navigate to Leicester."
Leicester, UK is 39 minutes from your location by car in light traffic. Here are your directions.
You see, usually it would actually start navigation, so I'm not sure why it didn't then, but it does work most of the time. It's very useful when it does work. You can actually get applications on other devices which do that sort of thing, such as Open Mic, but they're not as well integrated into the experience as the Moto X, and it's certainly a unique selling point of the device. Also, you do have Motorola Assist as well, which gives you the ability to silent the device when you're in a meeting or sleeping, or basically it will actually detect when you're driving so that it will read out your texts and play music through the headphone jack. So it's definitely very clever in that regard, in that it's trying to analyse what you're doing and make your life that bit more easier, which is probably better than, you know, building thousands of options into the device that you're never going to use, like some Samsung devices. Also Motorola recently just pushed out software called Motorola Connect, which is kind of like Mighty Text, if anyone's used that, which allows you to text from your computer and see text come onto your computer. So it's useful if you're in the office and you want to send a text without getting your phone out, without your boss seeing. So all these little additions really make the device, in my opinion, that much better than the Nexus 5. The Nexus 5 to me just feels a bit stale, but it certainly gives the Moto X some personality. There's also Motorola Spotlight, where you can actually play a little story. I've only done a little bit of this when I saw a bug crawling all over my phone, and then you go into it and you can see that little bug there. You have to find the bug as you tilt the phone, and it's quite good. You know, it's quite interesting. It's a little value-added thing which gives the phone personality. In regards to the sound quality through the speaker on the back is excellent. It would be nice if they put it on the front like the Moto E, which has recently come out. But in comparison to the Nexus 5, for example, it completely blows it away. Sound quality through the headphone jacks is decent as well, although there's not as many equalizer options as some of the Sony handsets. I think all in all, the Moto X is certainly an excellent device. If it could be considered priced a little bit too high at the moment, but I think that it'll be coming down in price as the next Moto X Plus 1 comes out. I think if it came out about 200 to 250, then it would be, you know, an excellent phone to buy right now. But when it's competing with the likes of the LG G2 and things like that, then it might get overlooked. I've certainly enjoyed looking at the device, and I would certainly recommend it. So this has been a review of the Moto X. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe or like the video. Cheers.